was going to say that one. And then 西遊記.
Oh.
Because that was a very big classic.
How does it go?
I'm
not trying to make you sing. I'm not trying to make you sing, but I just don't remember. Oh, it's by.
I think 張衛健.
Yeah, 張衛健. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
But that was like a. Yeah, no, that was like.
I don't know why she's shaking.
She doesn't appreciate that. She's educated.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 is hard because what would be? Yeah, I think I was gonna say Yahoo.
Yeah, one thing. Oh, Michael learns to rock. That's why you go away, or that's why she goes away. I don't remember. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Happy Hour. Today the table has kind of turned. My name is Jose. If you remember, I'm the returning guest. And thank you, Wing and Elaine, for letting me pick a topic out of Cantopop to explore with you guys today.
Looking forward.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that I'm not having to lead the conversation.
Yeah, it's actually tougher than I thought. It's actually tougher than I thought.
You can learn rather than teach today. So
yeah.
Take a back seat. So
I don't know if I have much to teach. We'll see. So to get me mostly warmed up, let's start the pop quiz.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it multiple choice?
It is multiple choice.
Okay.
Choice of 3 answers.
3.
Yeah. And it's also gonna be the same format, Changbat, right? Okay. So.
I'm so gonna lose.
I'm the buzzer.
No, it's okay. There might be things Wing doesn't know either.
No, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so the first one. So Cantopop icons were very much idolized in the 1980s in Hong Kong. Which of the following is not one of the heavenly gods, say Dai Tin Wong in the 90s? A. Andy Hui, B. Aaron Kwok, and C. Jackie Chan.
Oh no, I all of a sudden I don't recognize the English names.
Oh, should I say it in Chinese for you?
No, it's okay. I'll just guess Aaron.
Okay.
What was A? A, right?
Yes, when it's Andy Hui on is not one of the 4 heavenly gods in Hong Kong pop culture. Okay, number 2. Having a concert in the Hong Kong Coliseum is not only a dream of many Hong Kong singers, but also an important milestone for their careers. Which of the following female singers had the most performances in this venue?
Oh wow, that's hard.
Really?
Well,
what choices?
Okay,
choices.
True.
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Okay, A. Anita Mui, Wu Yimfong. Okay. She looks a bit clueless. B. Joey Yong Joey, and C. Paula Choi Xiuhong. So which female singer had the most performance in this venue?
Well, I think it is a hard question because it kind of.
That's true. It's over a long time
They're
span.
equally popular within their own era.
That's
true. If I had to choose, I would say Joey, just because I think her career is like the longevity of it. It's quite long, and like I think she was like 90s, 2000s.
Yeah, that's true. Kind of true because she's still active in the. So it's difficult to say whether she will break the records of other people.
C.
Oh.
Who? I don't
Choi
remember.
Siu-fong.
I don't remember who that was. C. Okay.
She actually got it right.
Yeah!
Did you look at my screen?
No, I was just like guessing. Yeah, just strategically guessing.
That's what we were doing with the star sightings.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. It's actually Choi Siu-fong. It's actually Choi Siu-fong.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
More than Joey.
And
what were the numbers though? Was it by a lot? Or
yeah, actually.
Oh wow.
I don't remember exactly, but I think she had also kept the record of having the most number of concerts in the year.
Maybe it was a lot more intense then.
Oh no, Sam Hui was the record keeper, but then
right.
she also came very close as a female singer.
Right. Maybe because the booking wasn't as as tight.
Yeah, yeah. No, but like all three singers I mentioned,
Well, that's
like
interesting.
phenomenal. Yeah. Third question. Cantopop album sales have drastically dropped in the late 1990s. How much has it dropped from 1995 to 1998? A, 40%, B, 50%, C, 60%.
That's hard as well. How does
swear,
anyone actually know the answer to this?
I
know. Your questions are so much more factual than mine.
No, which is fine, but at least your ABC could be like 20, like 20, 50, and 80 or something. Because it's like 40, 50, and 60. So
Are they too close?
Precise.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say 50.
40.
Okay, it's actually 50.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's actually quite a lot for within a 3 to 4 year time span. It's actually
Is that album sales?
Album sales, yeah.
Okay.
It's actually because there was a very significant issue about piracy.
Yeah,
Back
because
then.
Batman.
Yeah, so the sales dropped a lot back then.
So it wasn't because of the online thing yet, right? Because this is late.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay.
People still bought like physical albums back then.
Interesting. I do remember the whole privacy,
The piracy.
thing.
Yeah. Okay, next question. A little bit more recent. Which of the following local bands has the most Instagram followers?
These all numbers. All is about music.
It is. They are local bands, right?
Business and music. Okay.
A, Dear Jane. B, Rubber Band. And C, Supper Moment.
I only know Dear Jane because you guys like Dear
I
Jane.
presume it's Dear Jane.
We talk about Dear Jane so much, right?
I'll say Dear
I
Jane.
presume you would not put them on if they're not the answer. So Dear Jane.
Oh.
Psych.
No, I'm doing it because I wanted them to have more Instagram followers. It's actually
Right.
Supper Moment.
Oh wow.
Oh.
What is
Yeah.
Rubber Band?
Rubber Band has the least actually among the three.
Supper Moment is it the newest?
Supper Moment.
I think Rubber
Yes.
Band is 10 years, right?
Rubber Band has a long time. They only have like 25,000. Rubber Band, and then Dear Jane had 67,000, and then Supper Moment had 72,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's still a big difference to, which I think we might talk about later, but to like even like TV stars.
Yeah.
Because there are the followers and stuff. Because I can.
Oh, you think TV stars have more?
I think they have a little bit. Yeah.
Oh.
I think so. We can check later, but.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, I feel so sorry for the local band.
No, I'm just letting know.
Okay. And then the last question is, it's actually kind of factual again.
There's a pattern.
Which local artist has won the most Best Album Award over the years at the Ultimate Song Chart Awards presentation? A, Eason Chan. B, K, C. Eason Chan is Chen Ixun, right? And then B, K, C, Zayon K. And then C, Jackie Zhang Haoyao. A hint for you guys is this award show only started in 1989.
Eason? Or Jackie?
I'll say Jackie.
No, but it started in 1989, right? So the hint
wait.
is, yeah.
Oh, so Jackie's more recent, right? Oh,
But his stuff is more like
Yeah.
90s stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was going to get impact.
No, it's, yeah.
So Eason.
It's Eason, yeah. Because Eason is more recent.
That's interesting. You did pick up the very unique angles of that. About the music industry.
So specific.
It is. I realize when I'm asking you guys.
I think like the way you construct a quiz reflects your personality quite a lot.
It does. I realize
It's the numbers.
It's a lot of
Yeah,
a lot of
numbers.
numbers, a lot of
Yeah.
achievements.
And I'm just like all like elements and like
But the topic is different as well, I guess.
Yeah, okay,
A little bit.
true.
I guess it's,
Yeah.
I designed these questions because I wanted to highlight how people perceive the success of artists.
oh okay.
Yeah, so talking about like
Right.
being
Yeah.
idolized,
Fame.
having concerts in a
Number of concerts.
number of concerts, album
Awards.
sales,
Yeah.
awards, IG
Yeah.
followers. But yeah, we can talk more about that later, I guess.
A few moments later.
So do you guys know much about Cantopop in Hong Kong? Not much.
No, I only followed one singer, and that was Joey Young. So Young Joey. And then but I think like that was because I only loved one of her songs, which was it 我的叫 yeah. Was it something see me fly, that one?
Oh my god! You know something's gonna go on top of your head. Yeah.
It was like throwback.
Do you believe you can fly?
Like in my dreams.
Okay.
No, but that was the only song that I
Right.
would listen on repeat, and the thing is like I used to say, oh, I love her, but then like I only knew that one song. And I'd sing it over and over again, and I just like memorized the lyrics and stuff.
Right.
And it just became my go-to karaoke song.
For me, I was exposed to Cantopop when I was really young, watching TV.
Okay.
And I, there are always theme songs before and after the drama.
Yeah.
So that's when I first got in touch with Cantopop.
Okay.
Even in the 1980s when I was when I was just watching TV, and it's it actually kind of the song kind of matches with the theme of the drama. So I was just oh wow, you can use music to express the storyline. Or music to impress the mood of the drama.
Because for me it was more because I moved to the UK when I was quite young, so I didn't actually get exposed to any type of Chinese culture and entertainment. Besides, we used to have those VHS videotapes of TVP dramas.
People can rent it,
You
right?
can rent it. You rent it, and then there's a lot
This
of
makes
stuff.
no sense to me.
I actually know. I used
okay.
to watch was it like Blue's Clues, just TV show for kids on those VHS.
Okay.
And it's really precious because one VHS you can only record I think 3 hours worth of
because it's
content.
like this, right?
180.
So that's 4 episodes of TVB drama on one day. So usually you binge watch it because you and then so that's when I think
you watch it with your family.
Yeah, because my parents watch it. So I think that was why because it was weird because I would in the weekend I would watch this stuff, and then I go to school and nobody would understand if someone asked me, or if I talked about what I did over the weekend. They would have no clue what I'm talking about. And it's really hard to explain in English as well because it's also a language thing. My parents kind of I guess always was wanted me to get exposed to kind of Chinese culture because it was a limited opportunity to learn that. Then I went to Chinese school once a week. On a Saturday.
They wanted you to get exposed to Chinese culture, or they didn't want you to?
They do.
Oh, okay.
So they wanted me to keep the
Your ancestry.
the language. Yeah, I guess.
Your roots.
I mean, maybe not the culture, but the language. Because we primarily communicate in Chinese, so I think naturally it's.
No, but I remember when I first met you, your Chinese was so.
Yeah, because that's why. Exactly. Because in the UK, you don't really. When I was in the UK, I didn't really as junior and stuff. All my friends were British or international. I had very little friends. So even the Chinese friends would just speak in English.
Oh. Yeah. So the demographics at your.
Yeah, the demographic is it's slightly different. So then that kind of for me, that's why Cantopop was always there, but it wasn't really prominent until maybe when I came back to Hong Kong again. Mostly because I think it was a way to pick up the language. For me, I think music and learning a language is quite it's probably the driving reason why I started listening to it. And then obviously once you start listening to it, it becomes more a social thing as well because your friends are, and we go to karaoke, we talk about music and things like that. So for me, my Cantopop knowledge is probably more 2000s and beyond.
Oh, so you missed the whole glamorous era of the
classics.
Cantopop.
Yes, I missed.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I would listen to it, but
Yeah.
I would never.
Yeah.
It doesn't evoke the same.
Because
like,
it was actually very amazing because at that period of time, Cantopop was so big that even non-Cantonese speaking countries, people living there would listen to Cantonese
Yep.
music.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, like when we talk to some of our friends
Yep.
who are in Taiwanese friends,
Mm.
they would actually recognize or they know Cantonese music and they
Mm.
actually know how to sing the songs as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was like that big. It's kind of like the K-pop now, I would feel.
Mm. Yeah.
It's comparable.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 To be fair, like when I went to Korea for my
Mhm.
K-pop dissertation,
Yeah.
a lot of the people that I interviewed, they mentioned that, to be honest, Cantopop had a huge influence on K-pop.
Mm.
No.
Yeah, because like when if you go there and then and people ask you, oh, where are you from? And I say Hong Kong. They're like, Hong Kong, I love Hong Kong. Like everyone in Korea loves Hong Kong. Like from the Cantopop to the films.
Oh yes.
Yeah, to the films. Yeah,
Like Stephen
especially.
Chow.
Yeah,
Zhao Xingqi. No.
probably.
No, but because like you would, I noticed like even the most CBC or ABC people, they would know Stephen Chow, Zhao Xingqi, like because
Maybe I'm not ABC or
maybe you're just younger.
BBC enough.
Yeah.
Generation.
Yeah, it's a generation thing. It's a generation thing.
No, I
yeah.
think it's no, but I know. I think my friends definitely
Mm.
know more about Cantopop than I do, anyways. I
Mm.
think because you guys mentioned that you encountered Cantopop mainly like from your family, right? Or just like at home watching TV. And for me, I guess I missed that as well because I lived most of my life in Hong Kong. I lived with my grandma,
Oh.
and she loves Mando pop or Chinese opera.
Oh.
So like
yeah,
whenever
yeah,
I
yeah.
come back home, it's like 中央第四台, like CCTV is CCTV 4 is on, which is like all Chinese opera.
Oh.
So it's like
Wow.
yeah, all that. I'm not gonna say.
I need to find a sticker of you doing I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what. Yeah.
I mean, I think it is. It's so when you were. It's kind of funny now. All of us are like, it's mainly because the family started like when you, and then it always sticks when you're a kid. It kind of seems to always stick.
Yeah.
Even though like your taste changed, like our music taste really changed over the years, but you kind of come back to it and you still feel some sort of familiarity.
Yeah, that's why I have so much passion about
Yeah,
Cantopop,
yeah,
and
me too.
at the same time, that's why I felt kind of sad/disappointed that it kind of went on a decline. Like, I wanted to share with you guys like this quote by Wong Ga-kui.
Oh, was it the movie director? No.
Oh, that's Wong Kar-wai.
I was close. I was close.
He's
this
also
time.
famous.
No, because back in the 80s/90s, there was a very big rock band in Hong Kong called Beyond, and they're like big regionally. And one of their no, it's not one of their the main lead singer was called Wong Ga-kui, and he died at a relatively young age. But just like about a month before him passing away, he was in an interview and kind of talked about 香港只有娛樂圈沒有音樂. I don't even know if you understand. It's like there's only showbiz but no music industry.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
What
And
year? That was quite a way when he.
it's like late 80s,
Yeah.
almost 90s. Yeah. And in the interview, he kind of talked about like, you know, in the award shows, only the famous people would win something. It's like the songs that won awards would be like cover versions of melodies from other places, like no original songs from Hong Kong. So like, and all the people in power in the music industry, they weren't really, you know, they don't really have respect on music. So he was like quite kind of frustrated too.
So it's all the shows and the bells and whistles, but not that about the actual quality of the music production and
which makes me think that like, oh, you know, there's always like underlying rules that you need to play when you're in this entertainment industry
Yeah.
To win.
to win.
Yeah.
To get the award, to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
the hits.
Yeah.
Sometimes I kind of empathize as well because you know it is a business after all. Like if you look at say a music like a band, like I read stories about how bands have to sustain, you know, their occupation by like running a cafe at the same time. Just because you got to make a living still. And living costs.
NJ Cafe.
We don't have a band.
Yeah, we don't have a band.
I thought we were gonna have
is that
a
why
K-pop group together.
You're the dancer.
Yeah.
Remember we were gonna have like
Dancer.
the choreograph and stuff.
We
Okay.
could. No, but
Sorry to distract you.
No, it's okay. I think like people do things for a reason sometimes. So when you look at the reasons, it's like, well, what else are they supposed to do, right? Because if they spend a lot of time, and there are bands I think which do quite unique things, like the more recent kind of Canto bands that I do like, or that we do like. You know, you can see it's not just the music; it's also like the whole like music video production.
I think you're referring to Dear Jane.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
like Dear
Very
Jane
nice,
had
very
a
nice.
Dear Jane had a really nice song and video where they shot it in Saigon recently. And it brings you back to like old Hong Kong. There's a really good feel to it, and you can tell there's a lot of effort or thought being put into it. But I actually, because I was actually doing research for this, and I didn't actually find that a lot of reports on those angles. There were maybe one or two. So again, to Elaine's point, is like maybe if it was another place, there would be more people writing about it as well. So I think media does have a role to play. You know,
A lot.
like coverage.
Yeah.
Not just from oh how many albums they sold or whatever on the charts, but it's more like someone just appreciating what you created. I think is a big it's really important for creators in general. So when you keep doing things and then you don't get a response, like maybe it's really good, you never know, right? So and then it just dies out because they just go back to why not just make a song that's the easy way,
like the canned stuff.
Yeah, so you're always, because by definition the cookie cutter approach is easier, right? Because you already know the formula, is trying to test it. So I think
there are people using that approach.
Yes.
But then I do realize that a lot of the younger generation artists, they have their own thinking.
Yeah.
And how they define success is different from sort of say the golden era of Cantopop. They wanted to pursue, like I hear a lot of people saying like, oh, they renew their contract, and it's not about the money value anymore on the contract. It's more like, oh, they gave me a lot of freedom to produce music I like.
You mean the people now or
I hear a lot more.
Okay. Also, you're saying the youth actually, you're thinking it's kind of reverting back to the days of like music quality.
Which is a good sign and some hope for Cantopop, I guess. Because if they finally produce something they like, hopefully some of the stuff they produce would resonate with the audience. And that way success would be more meaningful to them. I think it's also a whole different, like we always compare things across eras here because it's about generational differences, but I think it's also different because especially with entertainment, like back in the days we watched the VHS and the dramas because honestly there was nothing else to do. Like if you were at home and you wanted to watch TV, there's other things to do, you can listen to stuff. But like if you were watching or listening to something, it's probably like two options. Whereas now there's just so much. Like you're competing for a person's time. And their time is so valuable now because there's just so many things you can do. So I think then you got to be a little bit more. That's why the commercial element works, or the bells and whistles or the glamour works because you just don't notice. There's so many things. Like finding good music takes a lot of time. Like the search cost is quite high as well. So you kind of just revert back to whatever is popular or whatever maybe someone else is talking about. I never actually thought about that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why it does change. So they do have to have more creative ways of promoting themselves as well, even if they have good music. So it's actually harder for them because they have to do good music and then have to have good
like post-production.
Yeah, post-production
like
and
PR,
right,
yeah.
And that's why I always shared. I think I shared a link with you of how the rubber band.
Sea Oscar.
CSI, the CEO Star.
Yeah.
Where so there's this band.
That was
like
amazing. The link that he shared me.
It was like a test. I thought I shared it on Slack. It was a 10-year anniversary of this band called CEO Star, and then they are doing a show via Minecraft, like a virtual Coliseum. Like so, it's gonna. I think it's gonna. It hasn't been launched yet, right? So, and they're gonna just integrate everything. So it's a live stream. It's gonna be like e-commerce, and they're gonna. I don't know how it's gonna work, but it's gonna be like the Minecraft figures of them, like playing, and then have the whole like digital experience. It's a bit like the way they did the what's the name? Travis Scott. Is it Travis Scott, the international singer who did a concert in Fortnite? I think it's Fortnite. Like the game,
that was.
So you know how you can see
yeah.
it. I think it's Australian. So it's like those elements. I think are pretty cool. That the old times you would never get.
Yeah.
So maybe they should start creating music. Based on that visual or based on that environment.
Because we define entertainment as a broader spectrum now.
And they have better tools.
Yeah, because back in the days when we think about cross-media promotion, we'll be thinking like a singer would maybe show up in a movie and then they would sing a theme song. And that's kind of like the cross-media thing. Or they get like endorsement, or they have a TV commercial. That kind of cross-media. And now, because technology has developed so much in such a short time, people are using more creative ways to get exposure in different platforms. Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Even like, because I did one thing I wanted to mention was especially because you went through the training, was talent development in music. Because now I think like I know maybe less in Canto culture, which is something they probably should adapt more. But like the singing contests, bringing people up through those.
I think TVB is launching.
They're trying to.
Really?
I'd be interested.
They stopped for a few years, and then they're relaunching.
But then
year.
in the China kind of singing contests, there are
There are just so many singing contests in China.
There are Cantonese stars that actually star in them, and some of them do quite well. Like not that they're like professional or something like, but like they have come and things like that. But I think it's kind of the whole concept is quite interesting because you're through the show you get exposure, but then people actually see you develop and get trained, and you get trained right. You get mentored and trained. I think that's something that definitely, if someone was to put money into the ecosystem, I mean, you're not just investing. You're seeing like returns like pretty immediate because if you invest in the show and train these guys and show people how they're trained, I think that's really.
You're producing entertainment right when you're training already,
them,
or during the selection process.
I think that's that would be interesting if people like really care about music, but obviously you have to compromise a little bit on the commercial side. That's something that could be a combination.
And another thing about this kind of talent contest, is that the audience will grow an emotional attachment to the contestants week after week. And they know they know the background story, they know how they have improved.
But the stories are a bit of a cookie cutter.
It's like I had a terrible childhood.
And a crying audience.
And a crying audience. Which get paid for crying.
You don't know that.
That's true. It's just a rumor. It's just a rumor. But
I think there's a lot of things that can be done. But I think there's, if we go back to Cantopop, for me it's like the guys that are still, the guys that we can mention are obviously very successful because in such a challenging market they've still been around for 5, 10, 15 years. And they always have to bear the baggage of like saying, oh, you do Cantopop, like why don't you sing more Mandarin songs? I'm sure you get that because even like
because the market is so much bigger, right?
And it's only going to get bigger, and if you have a Canto version, you almost definitely would have a Mandarin version as well, which I think is fine because it's actually quite good because it's amazing that one song you can have two totally different feel just because you change the lyrics. So I think that's actually an advantage. How many, I don't know, like for example in the English songs, it's not that common to have a bilingual version of it. So I think that's actually a really powerful tool that people should develop. But I also think that they're always going to have this baggage. So they're going to be like, you need to move to a bigger market. Like why are you
Do you think there's any way that people can possibly change the perception of Cantopop? Or do you think it's just gonna be having this bad rap of being a market too small?
Well, I think well, this is mostly my personal opinion, but I think like why Cantopop isn't as accessible globally as it is like other, like for instance K-pop or just like English pop is because of the language itself doesn't really, like the pronunciations aren't as smooth don't go as smooth with the melody as it does with other languages. Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, I love Cantonese as a language. It's like so diverse and like so creative, especially when you're swearing. just like FYI, Cantonese.
For example.
No.
We can always edit it. Do share.
No, but it's like I personally think like even my other like multilingual friends, they think Cantonese by far is the best language to swear in because there's so many ways you could swear in a sentence. But anyways, but it's kind of like when you listen to, let's say, you know the Let It Go, the song from Frozen, so that got adapted into so many different languages, right? Like Spanish, Italian, and German. But then I listened to the different languages for that song, and like I think, was it Finnish and German was like, it was very hard to finish the song in my opinion. But
it's hard to finish, right?
Oh,
my gag. Shout out to my gag.
Also, so some, I guess what your point is some languages are just tougher when put into melodies.
Yeah, especially for listeners who don't speak that language. It's like, unless you understand it, it's not as I easy on the ear, right? So I think like it's kind of like that for Cantonese.
It's so, I mean, I think it's the harder language to learn.
Yeah.
And I was actually quite glad that we learned Cantonese first, because if I had to relearn it, I think it would be hard because of the whole there's like the whole 9 intonation thing. And there's no like a pinyin. Like there's not really like a you can't really pronounce it.
There is like a pinyin, but then it's just
it's hard to follow.
Yeah. Because it's our first language.
We don't use it. It just confuses you.
It's just like there's phonics in English, but nobody really uses the phonics because it's like natural.
Which is interesting because that's why, like, that's one part of the song, right? Is the lyrics, and then the other side is obviously the actual music and the melody and the composition. So that's why I think to pick it up, you're right, because people listen to Cantopop and it's like, well, it's all the same because it's the good that everyone is taking the cookie color approach.
It's because of the karaoke era.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Even though we enjoy karaoke so much.
That's the thing. If you didn't go to karaoke, like before I went to karaoke, I didn't know that many songs because I mean, I'm like, they all sound the same. They sound good, so I would like listen to some of them. Like, it's the music side isn't. I can see what you mean, because the music side seems very commercial and the same, and then if you don't really understand the lyrics side, that's really hard. It just makes it not very accessible.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think a big part of Cantopop culture is the lyrics.
I think so.
And that's what's keeping Cantopop unique. Because even though it's so hard, the language itself is so difficult to learn, so difficult to integrate into melodies. There's still a lot of people persistent enough to hold on to this, to produce Cantopop. And that's why that's why maybe part of the reason Cantopop means so much to me. Yeah. Because I love the fact that you understand the meanings of songs much more. Like if you look at the just like if you go on like a Google and search like a lyrics of good Canto songs, it's quite a lot going on there. But like of popular Cantonese songs. But like for example, I tried because I go to like the K-pop stuff. And obviously I don't understand the Korean, but I look at the translation and they obviously do not
focus on the lyrics as a differentiator.
It's like very superficial.
Because they're more like a choreographed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
visual. They're more
It's
visual.
Which is amazing.
Yeah,
So I think you're right, but we can't compete on
Like on the
we,
same level.
we
like
should
that.
compete on what our natural advantage is at, which is the words. For example, something like Cantopop, which I think is actually but for me is in an interesting stage because it's kind of like I think obviously it's been on a decline, but that forces you to, as you said, to create because the guys who are still in it are going to want to make a living from it, so they're going to do whatever is possible to kind of bring it back up. So I see hope.
I think it kind of, well, I guess being in a difficult position kind of pulls people together rather than
Exactly.
creating more conflicts
They're not-
within
Exactly.
within the industry.
They can't be content, so they have to keep trying. And the guys who are still at it, I think, are okay with failure because I'm sure they've gone through a fair share of it.
Yes, and I see a lot of younger generation pop singers in Hong Kong now. They are very eager to collaborate with other peers. Like I think back then, when the market was like very successful or very glamorous, you cannot collaborate with singers in other record labels.
Right,
But now like cross record labels are very common now, and it's actually a good sign because it shows that people are more united. Which is, I think a lot of younger generation had this mission behind them to kind of promote the Hong Kong pop culture, Hong Kong music, try to try to increase the pie again, hopefully.
That's interesting. I would definitely look after this discussion and having doing the readings on it. Definitely want to read up more on how people especially to Lane's point about how the barriers of kind of for an international audience. I think that's something definitely something can be done there because I think it's very important to expand the market beyond Canton speakers. Actually, I think that's a big barrier to break.
I think in order to break, I'm just like thinking out loud, brainstorming. We're like working for the Hong Kong music industry now.
Welcome more ideas from the audience. Any ideas?
No, I was just thinking like, because we actually don't know the language of K-pop as well. And it's a lot because of the visual that was appealing to the audience. And maybe that's something that local Hong Kong artists can look into. I don't know if you know Daeon K and Juno. They have a pretty creative idea of publishing the music these 2-3 years. They had a very long storyline about a couple, and then it's like from the teenage to like basically their whole life, and they would release singles on based on their relationship of the fictional character. That could be something that like
it's more of a story as well.
Something different. Not very cookie cutting. Maybe something that they can.
That was a pretty big hit as well.
People would want to follow like it's a story, right?
What happens next and stuff.
We may not have the skills to do the choreograph as like the K-pop culture yet, but maybe we can do something creative too. To add that is sad now like these days because we can't go karaoke for like 8 months now, and it's just so depressing because there's nothing you can do to like show off your singing skills.
Fine tune, right? Fine tune your craft
too.
Fine tune your craft.
But you can do that at home, like
in the shower.
He needs the audience.
I need audience. You know me.
live stream.
I'll look into that.
You two seem like you're really up for the singing and dancing episode.
I need somebody to do it with me.
No.
No, but so like I wish everybody can be back to normal very soon. So maybe we can wrap up.
Stay safe, guys.
Stay safe. Thanks for watching, and do share in the comment what your experience was like in Cantopop music, and maybe suggestions on how to make Hong Kong pop culture stronger and bigger. Wow, I sound like